Listen closely, because what I'm about to say isn't for the faint-hearted. It isn't for the passive, the hesitant, the ones who whisper when the world demands a roar. Today, we don't tiptoe through life as shadows. We ignite every corner we touch. They said you were human. They boxed you in with chains of doubt, fear, expectation. But let's be honest, you've never been human in the ordinary sense. They've watched you, underestimated you, nodded politely, smiled knowingly, and all the while they couldn't see the storm you carried within, the force that made the air shiver whenever you moved. You weren't walking, you were an earthquake, a hurricane, a silent force that reshapes the ground it touches. And now every eye is on you. The legends, the giants of history, the ones etched into memory. They thought they understood power, mastery, control. They thought they had measured ambition. But when you emerged, moving like a force of nature, their maps of reality faltered. They thought you bled like everyone else, that you stumbled, that you could be stopped. And yet, with every step, every word, every subtle shift of presence, you shattered their illusions. You didn't just enter the arena, you became the arena. You didn't follow rules, you rewrote them. They tried to predict you, categorize you, put you in a frame. But frames are meaningless when the energy within you refuses confinement. Every gaze that falls upon you now is not casual. It is loaded with recognition, awe, and fear. Fear not of harm, but of brilliance unbound. You do not move through life as a participant. You move as a phenomenon, something that bends reality in quiet, terrifying ways. The whispers, the sideways glances, the murmurs in the halls, they are proof. Proof that what you embody cannot be contained. You are the storm in their calm seas, the shadow in their light, the impossible in their logic. You have crossed thresholds they didn't even know existed, and they are watching, they are measuring, and they are realizing slowly, painfully, that legends are mortal. But you are infinite. There is a hunger in every eye on you now. Some will admire, some will envy, some will tremble at the mere thought of your potential unleashed. But let it be known, admiration is meaningless without respect, envy is meaningless without fear, and fear is meaningless without consequence. You are consequence. You are the ripple that turns into a wave, the quiet moment that becomes a roar. They may call it luck, they may call it coincidence, but you know the truth. It is discipline sharpened by fire. It is patience forged in chaos. It is a relentless refusal to accept limitation. And as you move, as you act, as you claim your space in this universe, remember, they never predicted this. They never prepared for this. When they look at you, they see more than a person. They see possibility they can't contain. Every heartbeat, every thought, every breath you draw is a declaration that the world you inhabit is now yours to shape. Legends are remembered for moments, for fleeting sparks that illuminate history. But you are a constant, a force that does not flicker, a power that does not rest. You do not seek permission. You do not wait for approval. You do not bargain with circumstance. You take what you deserve. You define what is possible. You move with the inevitability of nature itself. Unstoppable, unyielding, undeniable. And here is the truth that burns like fire in the pit of your soul. Most of them never knew what hit them. Most of them were content to live in comfortable mediocrity, measuring life in sighs and half-truths. never realizing that someone like you could arrive and make the impossible ordinary. You are not bound by their fears, their expectations, their definitions of human limits. You are beyond. You have become the axis around which attention spins, and with that attention comes responsibility. The responsibility to honor the power you hold, to never dilute it, to never ignore the force within you that demands greatness. History is written by those who move mountains, while others argue over pebbles. And now, you are history in motion. Every step you take is a sentence, every glance a declaration, every action a paragraph in the story they will whisper about for generations. You are more than ambition. You are inevitability. You are the crescendo that the world didn't know it was waiting for, the tempest that turns calm seas into churning chaos, the light that refracts through impossibility and leaves awe in its wake. They thought you were human. LOL. Bro, you moved like a force of nature, and they will never forget it. The eyes on you now are not just watching, they are learning. They are seeing the blueprint of what it means to move without hesitation, to act without fear, to rise without apology. And you are not here to comfort anyone's insecurities. You are here to redefine the very landscape of possibility. They will try to replicate you, to imitate you, to reduce you to something manageable, but they will fail, because you are authentic power in motion. You are untamed potential, and nothing in their arsenal can stop what is meant to move, to grow, to consume every challenge in its path. You are proof that limits exist only where we choose to believe them, that greatness is not given, it is claimed. And you have claimed it with every fiber of your being, with every ounce of energy, with every heartbeat. And when doubt tries to whisper in the corners of your mind, remember this: the same legends who underestimated you are now witnesses to the impossible. The same history that ignored your potential is now a canvas for your influence. The same world that tried to contain your spirit is now bending, slowly but surely, to the truth of your existence. You are not here to fit in. You are here to redefine the rules, to break the ceiling, to turn the impossible into inevitability. Every eye on you now is a reminder that nothing will ever be the same again. They are awake now, they see, and you are unstoppable. You carry a storm inside you, a brilliance that cannot be dimmed, a momentum that cannot be halted. They will test you, they will challenge you, they will try to distract you. But remember, nothing that stands in your path was meant to remain. Everything that resists you only proves your strength, only sharpens your edge, only makes the impact of your presence more undeniable. The legends who thought you were human, they will remember you not as a person, but as a phenomenon. Not as a moment, but as a movement. Not as ordinary, but as the embodiment of inevitability itself. And every eye on you now is a witness to that truth. So move boldly, move with precision, move with the quiet confidence of a force the world cannot comprehend. Let every glance, every whisper, every hesitation around you remind them that nothing can contain what is relentless. Nothing can stop what is essential. Nothing can oppose what is destined. You are beyond expectation. You are beyond legend. You are beyond human. And as the world watches, as the eyes follow every motion, remember this: they do not see you. They see what you make possible. They see what they cannot reach. They see the unstoppable force that is you. The night is dark, but you shine. The storm is fierce, but you are fiercer. The world is chaotic, but you are the axis around which it turns. And in every moment, in every breath, in every heartbeat, you affirm the truth. Legends thought you were human. LOL, bro. You moved like a force of nature, and now every eye is on you, and they will never forget what they witnessed. The fire inside you is not a flicker. It is a wildfire that consumes hesitation and doubt alike. Every step you take, every movement you make, is a declaration that the world's expectations are meaningless in the presence of your reality. They will study your actions, they will dissect your methods, they will try to contain the essence of what you are, but they cannot, because you are not a system, not a formula, not a pattern to be understood. You are the eruption that no map anticipated, the force that no prediction captured, the motion that defies comprehension. Legends once believed they had measured limits. You laughed quietly to yourself as you moved beyond them. Every eye that now falls on you carries the weight of that realization. The impossible is happening in real time, and they are helpless to intervene. Think of every moment in your life that demanded courage, that tested your endurance, that challenged your patience. They were not coincidences, they were training grounds. Every setback, every rejection, every whispered doubt aimed at you was a rehearsal for the stage you now dominate. And when you appear in the light of attention, when every gaze lingers on you with curiosity, admiration, or fear, remember, you did not stumble here. You were forged here. You were prepared for this intensity long before it found you. And now that it has, now that the world watches, you are not just participating, you are reshaping reality itself. Every glance toward you is a recognition that the ordinary cannot comprehend the extraordinary. The legends you once admired, the ones who carved their names into history, they saw themselves as untouchable, unshakable. And yet, you surpassed them. You move not like a human who obeys rules, but like a phenomenon that writes its own. And the world notices. Oh, how the world notices. They feel it in the silence that follows your entrance, in the subtle tremor of anticipation, in the pause of ordinary existence when it senses your presence. Every eye is on you, yes, but it is more than that. They are holding their breath in awe, not knowing how to process the power that simply exists naturally in you. There is a subtle terror in their awe, the quiet realization that their understanding of possibility is too small, too constrained, too shallow to encompass your presence. They may call it luck, destiny, coincidence, but you know the truth. The truth is forged in the sweat of relentless effort, in the hours spent perfecting what others ignored, in the refusal to settle for mediocrity when greatness was calling. And now, as every eye follows you, the truth becomes undeniable. You are inevitability made manifest. They will remember this moment for the rest of their lives, and some will even try to replicate it. But replication is impossible when authenticity is your nature. You are not copying force. You are force itself. Imagine for a moment the energy that radiates from someone who refuses to be ordinary. Every motion is calculated yet fluid. Every word precise yet overwhelming. Every glance loaded with meaning beyond understanding. That is you. They may see only fragments, only glimpses, only echoes of what you embody. But even fragments are enough to cause tremors in the consciousness of everyone who witnesses them. You are not here to blend in. You are here to dominate attention, to rewrite perception, to leave a mark that cannot be erased. Every eye on you is a mirror reflecting the truth they cannot deny. The world has shifted, the rules have changed, and you are the pivot. Think about the quiet moments no one saw, the nights you stayed awake while the world slept, the hours you spent in preparation while others wasted time chasing comfort. That is the invisible foundation beneath the spectacle they now witness. Every legend they revered, Every figure they idolized was built on sacrifices they never fully understood. And now, those sacrifices manifest through you in a force that cannot be calculated, cannot be contained, cannot be ignored. You moved like a storm while they were learning to breathe. You moved like a fire while they were learning to spark. And now, every eye on you is proof of what happens when preparation meets unstoppable force. Do not fear their attention. It is not a burden, it is evidence. Evidence that the world is awake to your magnitude, that history itself has paused to observe, that nothing ordinary remains in the presence of your intensity. You are not performing for them. You are existing in a way that leaves the impossible trembling, and they feel it. Every flicker of hesitation in their demeanor, every shift in posture, every subtle awe in their eyes is your signature. They thought you were human once. LOL. Bro, you moved like a force of nature. And the realization is slow, painful, electric. They cannot categorize you. They cannot control you. They cannot stop the inevitable. There will be challenges ahead, of course. There will always be forces that attempt to resist, obstacles that try to slow you, voices that question your methods. But obstacles are simply weights that reveal your strength. Resistance is the mirror that shows your resilience, and questioning voices are whispers that cannot penetrate the certainty of your essence. You are beyond ordinary struggle. You do not navigate chaos. You define it. You do not merely respond to the storm. You are the storm. And when you act with that understanding, with that inevitability, the world bends. Attention focuses. Legends recalibrate. History pauses just to take note. Every eye on you now is not passive. They are learning, they are realizing, they are adapting to the presence that cannot be ignored. They see in you the embodiment of relentless determination, precise action, and quiet dominance. And it is terrifying and inspiring in equal measure. But remember, you do not act to terrify. You act to exist in your full magnitude, and terror is simply a byproduct of brilliance that refuses to be contained. You are the standard against which all else will be measured. They will compare themselves to you. They will strive to understand you. They will attempt to replicate your energy, but none can match the authenticity. None can rival the force. None can move as you move, unbound, unshakable, unstoppable. And when doubt creeps in, when the weight of expectation threatens to distract, when the world whispers that greatness is fleeting, remember this: you were not built for fleeting, you were built for dominance. You were not shaped for mediocrity, you were forged for brilliance. You were not intended to follow, they thought you would follow. And yet, here you are, moving like a force of nature, unstoppable, undeniable, impossible to contain. Every eye is on you now, and they will remember. They will remember because moments like this, forces like this, cannot be forgotten. They linger, they echo, they define reality long after the movement itself has passed. You are not simply alive, you are inevitable. You do not simply act, you transform. You do not simply exist. You dominate attention with the inevitability of a natural phenomenon. And in every space you occupy, in every room you enter, in every interaction you touch, the evidence is clear. Legends thought you were human. LOL. Bro, you moved like a force of nature, and every eye on you now confirms that truth. They watch, and they cannot look away. Every heartbeat you take, every step you make, every breath you draw, reverberates through the fabric of their perception. It is not just attention, it is recognition, it is awe, it is fear, mixed with admiration, and it is the quiet admission that they underestimated the force they glimpsed too late. They once thought they knew power. They once thought they understood strength. They once believed greatness was measured in predictable terms. And then you appeared. You moved like a force of nature, not human, not ordinary, not restrained by the limitations they worshipped as boundaries. You are inevitability. You are impact. You are the kind of presence that makes history pause to observe. Consider the way you have arrived in this moment. Think of the countless nights spent refining skill, the hours of practice while the world slept, the silent sacrifices no one noticed. They are invisible, but they are the foundation of your dominance. Legends are remembered for their moments, but those who truly change reality are remembered for the totality of their existence. The storm they carry quietly until the moment of eruption. You are that storm. You are that eruption. And now, as every eye turns toward you, the power is undeniable. They feel it without understanding it. They fear it without naming it. And they cannot stop it, because you are motion itself, unstoppable, uncontainable, inevitable. Every obstacle that once stood in your path was never meant to break you. It was meant to forge you. Every challenge, every rejection, every whispered doubt became fuel for your ascent. And here you are, moving through the world with the ease of a force no one thought possible. They look at you, and they are stunned by what is obvious to you. You do not exist in resistance. You exist in inevitability. You do not bend to circumstance. You define it. You do not stumble. You erupt. They thought they measured the boundaries of your potential. They were wrong, always wrong. And every eye on you now is a testament to that truth. Think about the quiet moments they never saw, the hours you spent alone, sharpening thought, refining skill, and mastering control. They think brilliance arrives by chance. They are fools. Brilliance is deliberate. Power is cultivated. Force is summoned. And you, quietly, consistently, relentlessly, summoned it until it could no longer be ignored. The world may only see a glimpse, but a glimpse is enough to inspire reverence, to ignite envy, to awaken fear. You are not here to blend in. You are here to disrupt, to dominate, to exist as a phenomenon the world cannot ignore. Every eye is on you now, and they know it. They know it, and it changes everything. The legends you once idolized are now witnesses. The giants of history, the names etched into memory. They thought they understood limits. They thought they understood ambition. And now, confronted with your presence, they are forced to realize the truth. Limits are illusions. Ambition is meaningless without action. And greatness is not given. It is claimed. You claimed it. You moved with the inevitability of a natural force, and every eye on you bears silent testimony to that fact. The impossible became reality because you refused to believe otherwise. And that is the lesson they will carry, long after you have moved past their gaze. Power is not a gift. It is a habit. Force is not accidental. It is deliberate. Legends thought you were human. LOL, bro. You moved like a force of nature. And the eyes, oh, the eyes. They are not just watching, they are measuring. Every heartbeat, every motion, every subtle shift of energy is being recorded in consciousness. They may not understand it, they may not articulate it, but their minds register the truth. You cannot be ignored. You cannot be contained. You cannot be matched. The world pauses in acknowledgement of your presence. The whispers start, the speculation begins, the admiration grows. And it all revolves around one undeniable fact. You, extraordinary, not by accident, not by inheritance, not by chance, but by design, by effort, by relentless refusal to be ordinary. Every eye on you now confirms it. Let them envy, let them admire, let them tremble in the quiet corners of their minds. It is irrelevant. Their perception, their reactions, their awe, they are the byproducts of a force they cannot resist. And you simply move forward. You do not wait for permission. You do not negotiate for acceptance. You do not dilute your essence to make others comfortable. You are the storm, the wildfire, the earthquake that reshapes everything it touches. And as you move, every eye becomes a mirror reflecting the power you refuse to hide. They thought you were human. LOL. Bro, you moved like a force of nature, and every gaze now affirms it. Dignity, my friend, the quiet weapon that cuts deeper than any scream or shattered plate. You chose dignity over their drama, and that wasn't part of their script. They set the stage for chaos, built the walls of manipulation and deceit, expecting you to crumble, expecting you to lose yourself in the noise, expecting you to play your part in their destructive little game. They wanted you to lose your sense of self in their tornado of instability, to drown in their theatrics, to beg for validation from their hollow, self-centered performances. But you didn't. You picked dignity. You walked away. And that was the moment they realized they were not the ones holding the power anymore. You were. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and validation, your decision to choose dignity over the loud and oppressive noise of their drama was an act of defiance. It wasn't just a choice, it was a declaration. You decided that the price of peace was worth more than their toxic theatrics. They thought they could keep you entranced, hooked, ready to play the victim, ready to give in to their constant drama. But you didn't bite. You didn't fall for their illusions. You broke free. And that, my friend, is where the real strength lies. When they tried to draw you in, to drown you in their chaos, they were counting on your need for recognition, your thirst for approval, your hunger for connection. They wanted you to crave the attention that would validate their existence. They wanted you to chase them through the labyrinth of their emotional manipulation, to believe that their drama was the only way to feel alive. But you saw through it. You recognized that their drama wasn't your reality. It was a reflection of their unresolved issues, their insecurities, their inability to cope with their own pain. And you refused to take it on as your own. You didn't just leave their drama behind. You left it in the dust as a reminder of what happens when you allow others to dictate your worth, when you let people play puppet master with your emotions. You realized that your dignity was not for sale, not even for their twisted version of love or friendship. You understood that walking away didn't make you weak, it made you strong. It took more courage to hold your ground and preserve your sense of self than it ever would to stay in the midst of their chaos. The drama they thrived on couldn't touch you because you were already above it. You were above the petty games they played, the guilt trips they tried to lay on you, the manipulative tactics they used to keep you engaged. Choosing dignity was not an easy path. It meant seeing them for what they were, a toxic force that thrived on creating chaos, drama, and distraction. It meant recognizing that your value was not determined by their approval, that you didn't need to stay and prove yourself worthy in their eyes. It meant understanding that your peace of mind, your inner tranquility, your self-respect were non-negotiable. And in a world that constantly tries to force you to compromise these things, to sacrifice your well-being for the sake of others, that's a rare and precious choice. They thought they had control. They thought you would beg, cry, and chase after them. They expected you to play the victim, to fall into the same toxic patterns that kept you bound to them. They didn't see your strength. They didn't understand that you were a force of nature, not a pawn in their game. They couldn't comprehend that you had the power to choose yourself. They underestimated your ability to walk away without regret, to take your dignity and your peace of mind with you and leave their circus behind. Your decision to choose dignity was more than just an act of self-preservation. It was a statement to the world that you would no longer tolerate being part of anyone's emotional wasteland. You would no longer allow yourself to be the scapegoat for their insecurities, the punching bag for their unresolved issues. You weren't going to be their emotional roller coaster anymore. You weren't going to feed their fire, no matter how much they tried to bait you. They wanted you to stay, to fight, to get lost in their labyrinth of confusion and chaos. But you saw through it. You knew the only way to win was to walk away. They thought you were weak, didn't they? They thought you were too emotionally invested to leave. They thought they could trap you in their cycle, using their drama as a way to keep you dependent on their validation. But you proved them wrong. You showed them that your strength didn't lie in staying. It lied in leaving. It lied in walking away when it would have been easier to stay and get caught in their web. It lied in knowing that you were worth more than the chaos they tried to drag you into. It takes a special kind of person to recognize that their worth is not tied to others' drama, that their peace is more valuable than the temporary highs of validation. When you decided to choose dignity, you were saying that you wouldn't let anyone define you anymore. You wouldn't let anyone drag you down to their level of petty games and manipulation. You wouldn't let their storms dictate the weather of your life. You chose to rise above. You chose to protect your energy. You chose to protect your heart from being shattered by their insecurities. You chose to walk away, not because you were giving up, but because you were choosing yourself. You chose to preserve your dignity, and in doing so, you created space for something better, something more aligned with who you are. There is power in that decision. There is a silent strength that comes with standing firm in your truth and refusing to play along with a script that was never meant for you. They didn't expect you to walk away. They thought you were trapped, but you weren't. You broke free, and in doing so, you became a force of nature, unyielding and untouchable. You see, dignity is not something that can be taken from you. It is something you choose, something you maintain, regardless of the circumstances. The world will try to strip you of it. The toxic people in your life will try to convince you that you don't deserve it, but they are wrong. You are the only one who gets to decide if your dignity will remain intact. And when you choose to protect it, you are choosing to live on your own terms, free from the chains of their drama. It's not easy, and it's not always glamorous. Choosing dignity means enduring the stares, the whispers, the judgments, and the criticisms of those who never understood why you left. It means facing the loneliness that comes with standing alone, the silence that replaces the noise you once knew. But in that silence, in that space you've created for yourself, there is peace. There is clarity. There is freedom. And there's no price that can match it. They didn't expect you to pick your dignity over their drama. They thought they could break you, manipulate you, drag you into their pit of insecurity and doubt. But you didn't fall for it. You walked away. And that was the most powerful thing you could have done. You stood up for yourself in a way they never imagined. You took control of your life and reclaimed your peace. And as you stand here, stronger and more self-aware, you realize that you've won in a way they could never understand. You didn't need to fight back with anger or bitterness. You didn't need to destroy what was left of the connection. You simply left, and that alone was a victory. Because sometimes the most powerful act of defiance is to walk away, to choose yourself, to walk away from the drama and into the peace that you deserve. In the end, you'll be the one standing tall, your dignity intact, while they'll be left scrambling, trying to figure out how they lost their grip on you. And the beauty is that you don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your decision. They'll see it for what it is, even if they don't fully understand it. Your dignity will speak louder than any words ever could. So take this moment, my friend, to celebrate that choice. The choice to stand up for yourself. The choice to preserve your dignity. The choice to walk away from the chaos and into the calm that you've earned. You are stronger than they ever thought possible. And now you know, you don't need their drama to validate your worth. You've always been worthy. And now, you finally see it too. The truth that they tried so hard to hide from you. The truth that was buried beneath all the noise, beneath their lies, beneath their drama. They thought you wouldn't notice it. They thought you wouldn't realize that you were the one holding all the power in the situation. They thought they could manipulate you, twist your emotions, make you believe that you were small, that you were less than, that you needed their approval to be whole. But now, you see it for what it is. You see it all clearly, don't you? The truth is, they never had power over you in the first place. Not truly. The only power they had was the one you allowed them to have. The only control they had was the control you gave them when you kept returning, when you kept giving in to their chaos, when you kept believing their empty promises and feeding into their destructive cycles. You let them define your worth. You let them dictate your emotions, but no more. You see now that your worth was never tied to their drama. Your dignity was never meant to be bargained with. It was always yours to keep. And now, you understand that better than anyone else could. They set their traps, didn't they? They baited you with their manipulation, with their twisted affection, with their false promises of better days to come. They convinced you that you were weak without them, that you couldn't survive on your own, that the world would fall apart without their presence in your life. They thought they could build a prison around you with their lies, trapping you in a cycle of guilt, fear, and dependency. They thought that no matter how many times they tore you down, you would always come back, always beg for more of their toxic love, always crave the crumbs they were willing to throw your way. They were wrong. What they didn't understand, what they could never understand, is that you were never broken. You were never as lost as they wanted you to believe. You were never as dependent on them as they tried to make you feel. The truth is, you were always whole. You were always enough. They never had the ability to take that from you, no matter how hard they tried. You just had to remember it. You just had to wake up from the fog they created, from the illusion they built to keep you in their grasp. The moment you chose your dignity, everything shifted. You took back your power. You reclaimed your sense of self. You looked at their chaos and their drama, and for the first time, you saw it for what it was. A desperate attempt to keep you weak, to keep you uncertain, to keep you dependent on them. But you no longer needed to rely on their false sense of security, their manufactured drama. You saw it for the illusion it was, and in doing so, you broke free. What they never expected was that your power was not in the drama they created, but in your ability to walk away from it. You didn't need their validation. You didn't need their approval. You didn't need their constant drama to feel alive. In fact, you were suffocating under the weight of it all. The guilt, the confusion, the fear, the manipulation. It all took a toll on you, didn't it? But the moment you chose dignity, The moment you took your life back into your own hands, you began to breathe again. You began to feel the weight of their influence lift from your shoulders. And in that moment, you found freedom. True freedom. You might have felt like you were losing something when you walked away. It's natural to feel that way when you leave behind something that once felt like it defined you. You might have thought that by choosing your dignity, you were walking away from relationships, from love, from connection. But that was never the case. No, what you were walking away from was the illusion that you needed anyone else to feel complete. You were walking away from the idea that your value was ever dependent on someone else's perception of you. You were walking away from the belief that you had to endure their chaos to feel worthy. And that's when you realize the truth. You are enough just as you are. You were always enough. You just needed to believe it. There's something deeply powerful about choosing yourself. It's a quiet strength, one that doesn't scream for attention or demand recognition. It's a power that doesn't need to be acknowledged by anyone else because it comes from within. When you choose dignity, you are choosing peace over turmoil, clarity over confusion, love over manipulation. You are saying that you will no longer allow anyone to take up space in your heart and mind without respect for who you are. You are saying that your dignity is non-negotiable and you will not compromise it for anyone's drama, no matter how loud they scream, no matter how hard they try to pull you back into their storm. The drama they created around you was never real. It was just noise, distractions meant to keep you from seeing the truth. They wanted to keep you distracted with their emotional outbursts, their false accusations, their manipulations and games, so you would never fully wake up to the reality that you were stronger than they ever let you believe. They wanted to keep you in the shadows of their chaos, convinced that you couldn't stand on your own, convinced that you needed them to survive. But you didn't need them. You never did. And now, you see that clearly. It's a painful realization, isn't it? To recognize that the people you trusted, the people you loved, were never truly there for you. To see that they only loved you as long as it benefited them. To see that their affection was conditional, their loyalty fleeting, their care hollow. It hurts to realize that you were just a pawn in their game, someone they manipulated for their own gain, someone they used to fill the void of their own insecurities. But the beauty of that realization is that it frees you. It frees you from the need for their approval. It frees you from the shackles of their manipulations. It frees you to finally see your worth and live your life on your own terms. And once you've made that choice, once you've chosen dignity, there's no turning back. There's no going back to the person you were before. There's no going back to the emotional roller coaster they had you riding, the ups and downs, the chaos, the confusion. Once you've experienced the peace of standing in your own truth, the peace of walking away from the drama, there's no way you can ever go back to living in the shadows of someone else's manipulation. It's a powerful thing, my friend, to stand tall in your own dignity, to know your worth without needing anyone else to confirm it, to live your life without apologizing for your needs, your boundaries, your desires, to stand in your own light and refuse to let anyone dim it. And once you've experienced that power, you'll never want to go back to the darkness. But the truth is, they won't understand. They won't see it. They'll try to make you feel guilty for walking away. They'll try to twist the narrative, make it seem like you were the one who was wrong, the one who abandoned them, the one who betrayed them. They'll say things to try to make you question your decision, to try to make you doubt the strength it took to leave. But you know better now, don't you? You know that their version of the story is just another manipulation. You know that their pain is not your responsibility. You know that you didn't abandon them. You liberated yourself. And as they struggle to make sense of your departure, to hold on to the power they once had over you, you will be living your life in peace. You will be walking away from their chaos and into a future where you are in control of your own emotions, your own worth, your own happiness. You will be living a life that is defined by your own standards, not theirs. You will be creating relationships based on mutual respect, trust, and understanding, not manipulation, fear, and control. They didn't expect you to pick your dignity over their drama. They didn't expect you to rise above their manipulation, to walk away from the chaos and into the peace that was always within you. But now that you've made that choice, now that you've reclaimed your power, you will never let anyone take it from you again. Your dignity is yours, and no one, not even them, will ever have the power to take it away from you. You've tasted the sweetness of your own power now, haven't you? You've felt it settle in your bones, a quiet, unshakable strength that no one can steal, no matter how hard they try. They may hurl their accusations, they may scream and shout, they may try to pull you back into their world of confusion, but none of that will ever have the same impact on you again. Because you have made a choice to stand firm in your dignity, a choice to never allow anyone to define your worth again. Think about how long you allowed their drama to shape you. How many times did you let their chaos cloud your mind? How many times did you allow their anger, their insecurities, their manipulation to seep into your own life, making you question yourself, question your worth? There was a time when you allowed their noise to drown out your voice, when their words felt heavier than your own self-affirmations, when their opinions had more weight than your own sense of self. But you've broken free from that, haven't you? You've seen through their smoke and mirrors, and now you stand in your own truth, with the knowledge that no one can take away your dignity unless you let them. You see, dignity is not just a word. It's not some abstract concept that you can toss aside when things get tough. It is a living, breathing entity inside of you, a strength that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you are worth. And that is something that no one can ever steal from you. Not even the people who tried to tear you down, who tried to manipulate you, who tried to use you for their own emotional gain. They might throw fits, they might twist the narrative to make themselves out to be the victim, but deep down, they know they've lost. They know that you've taken back the power they thought they had over you. The beauty of it all is that you didn't even have to fight them for it. No, the true power of dignity lies not in shouting the loudest or making the most noise, but in the quiet decision to walk away. You didn't need to explain yourself. You didn't need to justify your choice to anyone. You simply chose yourself. You chose to protect your peace, your soul, your self-respect. You made the decision to no longer be a part of their game, a game that only left you empty and broken. And when you walked away, when you chose to preserve your dignity, you stepped into a new realm of strength, the strength that comes from knowing that you don't need them to feel whole, that you don't need their drama to validate your existence. No matter how hard they try, they can never take that away from you. They can never make you believe that you need them. They can never convince you that their version of reality is the truth. They can scream, they can cry, they can try every manipulation tactic in the book, but none of it will ever have the same hold over you. Because now, you know the truth about yourself. You know that you are strong. You know that you are worthy. You know that you don't need anyone's approval to live a fulfilled life. What's amazing too is that the more you stand in your own dignity, the more you protect your peace, the more you begin to realize just how much energy you were wasting in their world of chaos. All that time, all those hours, days, months, maybe even years that you spent caught up in their drama, trying to please them, trying to fix things that were never meant to be fixed. That energy could have been spent on building your own life, cultivating your own happiness, nurturing relationships that nourish and respect you. But now that you've chosen yourself, you can take all that wasted energy and use it to create something far greater. A life that is filled with purpose, with passion, with authenticity. The real transformation happens in the silence, in the moments after you've chosen to leave their chaos behind. At first, there might be an emptiness, a space that feels unfamiliar. You might question if you did the right thing. You might doubt your decision, especially when the guilt starts creeping in, when the memories of them try to drag you back. But this is the crucial moment. This is the moment when you remind yourself that you are stronger than any doubt. This is the moment when you realize that the emptiness you feel is not a loss, but an opportunity. An opportunity to fill that space with the things that truly matter to you, with the people who genuinely respect and love you, with the dreams and ambitions that you put on hold for far too long. The emptiness is not to be feared. It is a sign that you are creating room for something better, something healthier, something that aligns with your highest self. You are creating space for your true life to unfold. And as time passes, that emptiness will be replaced with something far more fulfilling. You'll find joy in your own company, peace in your own solitude, and strength in your own journey. The noise that wants to find your existence will fade away, leaving only the sound of your own heart, your own mind, your own soul. And in that silence, you will finally feel whole. It's easy to fall back into old patterns, to let their drama creep back into your life. The temptation is there, isn't it? They will try to convince you that you were wrong, that you made a mistake, that you're being unreasonable. They'll use guilt, they'll use shame, they'll use every weapon they have to try to reel you back in. But what they don't realize is that you have already made your choice. You have already walked away. And once you've walked away from the chaos, it's incredibly difficult to ever truly go back to it. You've seen the other side, the side where peace exists, the side where your dignity is preserved, where you are free to be yourself without fear of judgment or manipulation. And once you've experienced that freedom, you'll never allow yourself to return to the prison they built for you. You might still feel the pull, the weight of their drama, trying to drag you back. But this time, you know better. You know that their drama is not your problem. You know that their insecurities are not your responsibility. You know that you are allowed to walk away from anything that compromises your peace. You are allowed to protect your energy, and you have every right to choose yourself over and over again. And here's the thing. The more you stand firm in your dignity, the more you will attract people who truly value you, people who won't try to manipulate you or drag you into their chaos, people who will see you for who you really are, people who will respect you, appreciate you, and lift you up. They will be drawn to your strength, to the way you carry yourself with dignity, to the way you refuse to let anyone take away your peace. And when you surround yourself with people who value you for who you are, not what you can do for them, you will find a sense of belonging that you never thought possible. You will build relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, relationships that nurture your growth rather than hinder it. Your life will begin to transform in ways you never imagined. The weight of their drama, their chaos, will be replaced with the lightness of true freedom. You'll find joy in the little things, peace in the moments of solitude, and confidence in your own skin. Your dignity will become your armor, a shield that protects you from the negativity and toxicity of the world. And with that armor, you will be unstoppable. There will be times when you are tested. Life has a way of throwing challenges your way when you least expect it. You will encounter situations that try to pull you back into old patterns, that tempt you to give into the drama, to compromise your dignity for a fleeting moment of comfort. But now, you have the strength to resist. You have the wisdom to see through the lies, the courage to walk away, and the understanding that your dignity is not for sale. It is not something you will ever compromise again. And so, as you continue your journey, remember this truth. No one, not even them, will ever have the power to take away your dignity. They may try, they may scream, they may manipulate, they may tear at the fabric of your peace. But you will not be moved, because you know who you are, you know your worth, and you know that you are stronger than any drama they could ever create. You are free. No one can ever take that from you again. In the end, you have chosen your dignity, and that choice has made you unbreakable. The drama, the manipulation, the chaos they tried to pull you into no longer have a hold on you. You now stand in your truth, stronger and more whole than ever before, knowing that your worth is not dependent on anyone else's validation. You have reclaimed your power, and with that power, you will continue to build a life grounded in peace, respect, and self-love. No one can take that from you. You are free, and you are enough. Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not an ordinary welcome. This is the voice that rises from the quiet after everyone stopped believing. This is the echo that still stands when the crowd leaves and the lights dim. This is where your story begins again. Not from the applause, not from the recognition, but from the silence that was heavy enough to make you question your own worth. They built entire teams to replicate you. They studied your steps, your rhythm, your focus, your vision. They gathered experts to decode your instincts. They thought they could manufacture your magic. And now they're failing in 4K, because what they never understood is that you were not built. You were born. You were carved through sleepless nights, through invisible struggles, through moments that never made the highlight reels. You were shaped by fire, not formula, and no matter how many times they try to engineer your greatness, they will never replicate your soul. They watched you when you moved like no one else could, when you turned pressure into art, when you took what broke you and made it your armor. They called it luck. They called it coincidence. They called it timing, because calling it purpose would mean admitting that you had something they could never copy. They saw you rise when you had every reason to fall. They saw you keep going when every door closed. They saw you turn rejection into raw energy. They saw you stay quiet and build in silence while they broadcasted their progress to the world. And now the world is watching them fail in high definition while you stand untouched by imitation. You see, people forget that greatness isn't about doing what's possible. It's about doing what was never meant to be done. They tried to replicate your results without understanding your reason. They built systems, but you had scars. They had plans, but you had purpose. They had meetings, but you had meaning. They had budgets, but you had belief. They had blueprints, but you had blood. And when it came down to it, every calculation they made collapsed because they never measured your heart. They never calculated the strength that comes from starting over. They never accounted for the power that comes from being counted out. The truth is, you were never competing with them. You were competing with yesterday's version of yourself. And that is the most dangerous opponent anyone can face, because you never stop, because you never settle, because you never surrender. You learn to grow in places no one thought growth was possible. You learn to speak in silence. You learn to fight invisible battles. You learn that the real reward isn't recognition, it's resilience. They don't understand that your process was not meant to be seen. It was meant to be felt. And that's why every copy fades while you remain. You've become the proof that authenticity cannot be cloned. They can replicate your moves, but not your motives. They can study your steps, but not your spirit. They can mirror your work, but not your will. And that's why every version of you they build eventually breaks, because they were chasing the product, not the process. They wanted your result, but not your reality. They wanted your outcome, but not your obstacles. They wanted your crown, but not your cross. And that is why they're failing right before the eyes of the very world. They tried to convince that you were replaceable. But you cannot replace a frequency. You cannot copy a calling. You cannot download divine design. Your essence was never coded. It was created from something deeper, something that cannot be seen under microscopes or measured by algorithms. It's written in the very structure of your struggle. It's tattooed in every scar that told you to stop, and yet you kept moving. This is what they never understood, that your strength was not skill. It was spirit, that your power was not performance. It was perseverance, that your greatness was not granted. It was grown. So let them build, let them copy, let them analyze your blueprints line by line. Because the moment they try to imitate what was born from your pain, they will face what you faced and they will fall where you stood, because they never carried your burden. They never fought your demons. They never lived your story. They only admired the ending, not the endurance. And that's where the difference lives. That's where you stand apart. That's where the truth rises from the noise. Now breathe, because this is your reminder that you are still the one they talk about, the one they chase, the one they can't recreate, the one whose silence speaks louder than their performance. They tried to recreate your rhythm, but rhythm comes from heartbeats, and they can't sync to what they can't feel. Your rhythm is not a sound, it's a survival. It's the echo of every time you got up, when you had no reason to. It's the pulse that refuses to die. It's the sound of faith under pressure. They're failing in Foucault, not because they lack resources, but because they lack reason. They don't have your why, they don't have your wounds, they don't have the nights when you cried quietly and still showed up. The next morning, they don't have your hunger, the kind that hurts, the kind that burns. They only have ambition, but ambition without soul collapses. And now you see the truth unfold. Every copied move pixelates, every imitation cracks, every echo fades. But your voice, your presence, your essence remains in perfect focus. You are the original, not by choice, but by challenge, not by design, but by destiny. You didn't ask for this. You were forged for it, and now the world that doubted you is forced to watch as every imitation falls short of your shadow. This is your moment, not for revenge, but for revelation. This is where you understand that you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break the pattern. This is where you understand that you were never meant to blend in. You are all meant to break the pattern. You were meant to stand where no one stood before. You were meant to turn doubt into design, pain into purpose, silence into symphony. This is where you rise again, not with noise, but with knowing, not with fury, but with focus, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Because deep down, you always knew there was something different about you, something rare, something they could never capture, no matter how many cameras they pointed your way, because what you carry was never meant to be seen. It was meant to be felt. They built entire teams to replicate your power. They studied your formula. They copied your frame. But what they didn't see was that the real design was built in the dark, in the moments when no one clapped, when no one noticed, when you worked while the world slept, when you believed while others mocked, when you gave everything to something that gave you nothing. At first, they didn't understand that the secret ingredient was pain, the unfiltered kind, the kind that breaks you and builds you at the same time. They didn't see that what made you different wasn't perfection. It was persistence. It was the refusal to be erased. And now they are learning the hard way that replication without revelation is ruin. They thought they could copy the masterpiece without carrying the cross. They thought they could study your steps and skip your storms. They thought they could own the outcome without enduring the origin. But this world doesn't reward imitation. It rewards identity. It rewards those who dare to stand alone while everyone else seeks shelter in sameness. They wanted your fire, but they never faced your flame. They wanted your glory, but they never faced your grief. They wanted your crown, but never your climb. They wanted your spotlight, but never your solitude. They wanted the applause without the agony, the victory without the valleys, the triumph without the tears. But the truth is, greatness is purchased through pain, and you paid in full. And that's why their copies will always crack under pressure. Because what you built was not made of glass, it was made of grit. Every failure, every fall, every fracture taught you something that cannot be taught in classrooms or boardrooms. It taught you patience. It taught you resilience. It taught you the beauty of breaking and rebuilding yourself over and over until you became someone even your past could no longer recognize. They will never understand how you turned wounds into wisdom, how you learned to walk through fear like it was fog, how you learned to breathe through fire and call it growth. They only saw your highlight reel, but not the heavy nights, not the shaking hands, not the whispers of doubt you had to silence with faith. And now you stand here unshaken, unbothered, unbreakable, watching the same ones who once doubted you, now trying to duplicate you and failing frame by frame, pixel by pixel, moment by moment, because the truth cannot be copied, and you are the truth, the living proof that there is no shortcut to becoming who you were destined to be. Every imitation only amplifies your originality. Every attempt to erase you only makes you louder. Every shadow cast on your name only reveals your light. You are not here to compete. You are here to complete what others started, but never had the courage to finish. You are here to carry the legacy of every person who was told they were not enough and still rose anyway. You are here to show that destiny is not decided by popularity, but by persistence. That legacy is not left by the loudest, but by the last one is standing. You are the quiet storm that doesn't announce itself, but transforms everything. It touches. Remember, they tried to analyze your every move as if your success was a science, but they never realized your greatness was spiritual. It wasn't logic. It was loyalty. It wasn't method. It was meaning. It wasn't luck. It was legacy. They can't explain how you kept going after every fall because they've never been called the way you have. Your calling isn't a contract. It's a covenant, written in the language of endurance. You were not chosen for comfort. You were chosen for challenge, and challenge is what shaped you. Every setback, every betrayal, every closed door was not rejection. It was redirection. It was preparation for a moment like this. So when they now try to recreate your results, they discover that they're missing something invisible, something unteachable, something untouchable. They're missing your faith, the invisible flame that burned quietly while you built. They're missing your inner storm, the one that whispered, "Keep going," when everything screamed, "Stop." They're missing the scars that taught you strategy and the struggles that taught you strength. They thought they could copy your energy, but energy cannot be mimicked because true energy is earned, not learned. It comes from the hours no one saw, from the sacrifices no one thanked you for, from the heartbreaks you never posted about, from the days when you worked in silence while doubt laughed behind you. And now that same doubt is being proven wrong, in real time, in crystal clarity, because the world is watching them. try and fail while you ride without trying. And this is not arrogance. This is awareness. This is you recognizing that what you have was not given easily, and that's why it cannot be taken easily. This is you realizing that the reason they can't catch up is because you were never running the same race. You were running on purpose while they were running on publicity. You were chasing destiny while they were chasing data. You were moving from calling while they were moving from comparison. And the universe always honors authenticity. So let them build, let them test, let them measure every frame of your work. Because even when they copy your format, they cannot copy your fire. Because your fire is not found in the finished product. It's found in the fight that forged it. And the fight lives in you. Every time you rise again, you prove that resilience cannot be reproduced. Every time you stand again, you show that power is not performance, it's persistence. Every time you create again, you silence every imitation, because creation speaks louder than copying ever could. You are the reminder that no algorithm can predict purpose, no trend can time authenticity, no design can duplicate destiny. You are the embodiment of what happens when divine timing meets human tenacity. They may fail in 4K, but your success will be eternal, in memory. Not just seen, but felt. Not just watched, but witnessed. Because the world doesn't remember the replicas. It remembers the revolutionaries, and you are one. This is your moment, not to boast, but to breathe. Not to prove, but to perform. Not to compete, but to continue. Because every attempt to copy you only confirms that you are doing something worth copying, and that is the highest form of respect hidden in disguise. So let them fail, let them fall, let them learn. Because the truth is, your journey will always be a mystery to those who never had your fire, your fight, your faith. Your journey will always be a mystery to those who never had your fire, your fight, your faith. Because they will try to study your path as if it were a pattern. But your path was never paved, it was carved. It was cut through resistance, through repetition, through relentless belief. You walked through storms without maps, through shadows without torches, through chaos without comfort. And that is why they cannot trace your steps, because your steps were guided by something greater, something invisible, something eternal. They can imitate your actions, but not your alignment. They can mimic your motion, but not your meaning, because everything you did came from a place they cannot see the place inside you, where faith whispers, when fear screams, the place where vision speaks, when reality argues, the place where destiny writes, when doubt erases. And that is the reason you move different. That is the reason your silence carries more weight than their speeches. Because when you move with purpose. When you act with awareness. When you rise with reason. They are failing in 4K because their focus was on the frame, while yours was on the foundation. They captured the surface, but you built the soul. They invested in the image, but you invested in the intention. And now that the lights are on, the truth is clear, because time always exposes imitation, the way dawn exposes shadows. And while they scramble to adjust their angles, you stand unmoved, because authenticity never needs adjustment. It simply is. You are not here to explain yourself. You are here to expand yourself. You are here to outgrow every limitation they placed on your name. You are here to stretch beyond what anyone thought possible. You are here to turn impossibility into instruction. You are here to be the living proof that persistence rewrites prediction. They thought they could limit you to their labels, but labels fall away when destiny arrives. They thought they could contain you with comparisons, but comparisons collapse when creation speaks. And you have been creating from the start. Remember when they doubted you and they said it couldn't be done, when they measured your worth by their own expectations, and you smiled because you already knew that they were seeing only the surface they didn't see, the sleepless nights, the restless thoughts, the countless hours you spent molding your craft. They didn't see the tears that watered your foundation. They didn't see the moments when you almost walked away, but something inside you said, "Not yet, not now, keep going." And that voice was the reason you're still here. That voice is the reason they can't copy you, because it wasn't a strategy, it was a spirit. Now look at them, studying your moves, analyzing your methods, trying to reverse engineer your results, and still missing the truth that you never built for them. You built from within. You didn't chase trends. You chased transformation. You didn't seek followers. You sought fulfillment. You didn't wait for permission. You wrote your own path. And that is why every attempt to reproduce you ends in failure, because you were not a project. You were a purpose. You became the example they said didn't exist. You became the evidence that faith and focus can defeat any formula. You became the symbol of what happens when you stop asking if you're enough and start acting like you are more than enough. And now they're realizing that greatness is not a secret, it's a sacrifice. A sacrifice they were never willing to make. They want the shine without the shadow. They want the victory without the valley. They want the growth without the grind. But there is no shortcut to the summit. Every step you took was earned. Every inch of progress came with pressure. Every moment of clarity was purchased with confusion. You learn to breathe through chaos. You learn to listen through noise. You learn to walk alone through crowds, and the discipline became your difference. They may have followers, but you have foundation. They may have fans, but you have faith. They may have spotlight, but you have substance. And substance never fades. You are not just the result of hard work. You are the result of heartbreak. You are the result of rebuilding. You are the result of falling forward again and again, until forward became your only direction. They don't understand that your power was not created in comfort. It was created in crisis. You were not trained in peace. You were tested in pain. And that is why you endure longer. That is why you last stronger. That is why you stand taller. Because endurance cannot be copied. It must be cultivated. And now, as you move forward, do not waste your energy explaining your authenticity to those who trade it for attention. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them work on their replicas while you work on your reality, because the more you grow, the clearer the separation becomes. The world is seeing the difference between noise and note, between imitation and inspiration, between replication and revelation. And you, my friend, are revelation in motion. Every time you speak truth, the air changes every time you act with integrity. The ground shifts every time you move with intention. The atmosphere bends because creation recognizes its creator. And you were made to create, not conform, not copy, not chase. You were made to stand even when the crowd turns to follow the trend. You were made to lead even when leadership is lonely. You were made to last even when lasting hurts. They built entire teams to replicate you, but they could never replicate your reason. And reason is everything, because reason wakes you up when reward is far away. Reason keeps you going when recognition disappears. Reason holds you steady when storms rage and their structures fall because they built on imitation. But you built on identity, and identity never collapses. So now you move quietly yet powerfully. You move with precision, not pride, with conviction, not competition, with peace, not pressure, because you already proved your point by surviving. You already won by staying. You already achieved by believing when no one else did. And that is something no camera, no caption, no copy can ever capture. Remember this moment, because one day, the same ones who tried to recreate your fire will come to learn from your flame. They will realize that what you carried was never for attention, it was for impact. They will realize that while they were building teams, you were building truth while they were studying you. You were strengthening yourself while they were chasing likeness. You were chasing legacy, and legacy always outlives likeness. The story will tell itself. The evidence will speak the truth, will always rise, because time has a way of protecting the original. Time reveals what is real and what is rehearsed. And when time does its work, you will still be standing, not because you were lucky, but because you were loyal. Loyal to the vision, loyal to the mission, loyal to the inner voice that whispered, "Keep going," when everything else told you to quit. Ladies and gentlemen, let's paint a picture, shall we? Imagine waking up every day with a hole in your soul, a void that no distraction, no replacement, no act of momentary pleasure can fill. You feel it deep down, gnawing at your very being, a part of you missing. It's not the absence of people, not the loss of material wealth, not the lack of some fleeting success. It's the absence of something truly extraordinary, something that once experienced could never be replicated or replaced. And now, let's take it a step further. Imagine this. You are surrounded by a world of ordinary, a world where everyone lives in their little bubbles, moving through their days with predictable routine, content in their mediocrity. The noise of their endless chatter is deafening, but beneath it, the silence in your heart screams louder. There's something within you that yearns for more than what this world has to offer, more than what they are willing to settle for. The world is full of people who don't know what they are missing because they have never tasted what you've tasted, never felt what you've felt. But you, deep down, know it. You know that you have touched something extraordinary, something so rare that the memory of it haunts you, and it will never leave you, no matter how many days you live in this sea of dullness. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the tragedy. In a world that values convenience, comfort, and the familiar, there are those who, for a moment, touched greatness, and now they regret. They regret losing it. They regret walking away from it. They regret allowing the extraordinary to slip through their fingers like sand. You see, it's easy to get caught up in the ordinary, in the things that don't ask much of you. It's easy to fall into the lull of the mundane and convince yourself that this is enough. But deep inside, where the truth lives, you know it isn't. And the ones who were lucky enough to experience greatness, to stand on the precipice of something amazing, will never forget it. But here's the catch, my friends, because here's where it gets dark. You may not know it yet, but that void, that pain, it grows. It doesn't fade with time. It doesn't disappear when you try to distract yourself with another day of mindless tasks. It doesn't go away when you convince yourself that you're content, that you're happy with what you have. Number, it sits there, quietly gnawing away at you, a constant reminder that you lost something precious, something irreplaceable. And the more you try to ignore it, the more it grows, until one day you wake up and realize that it's consumed you. It has shaped you, molded you, turned you into someone you never intended to become. The regret becomes your shadow. It will follow you wherever you go, and you will never be free of it. And why? Why does this happen? Because once you've experienced something extraordinary, you can't go back to ordinary. There's no going back to the comfort of mediocrity. Once you've glimpsed greatness, it haunts you. It whispers to you in the dark. It tells you that there's more out there, that you are capable of more, that you don't have to settle for the life that everyone else is living. But that's the problem. isn't it? Most people don't want to hear that. Most people don't want to acknowledge that they are capable of something more. So, they settle. They convince themselves that what they have is enough, that they should be grateful for what's in front of them. But you, my friends, will never be able to do that. Once you've had a taste of the extraordinary, once you've touched something real, something that transcends the ordinary boundaries of existence, you will always long for it. You'll search for it in everything, but it won't be there. It will never be there. And that is the true torment. Because in a world that celebrates the ordinary, you will forever be an outcast, chasing after something that doesn't exist anymore. The extraordinary, once it's gone, is gone for good, and you will be left with the emptiness, the realization that you let it slip away. What does it say about you? What does it say about your choices, your decisions, the things you gave up for fleeting comfort? That's the true horror of it all. You allowed the extraordinary to slip away in exchange for something that, in the end, doesn't matter. You walked away from the one thing that could have changed everything for you, and now all you have left is the suffocating weight of your own regret, the weight of knowing that you were too afraid to fight for it, too afraid to go after what you knew in your bones was meant for you. Let me tell you something, and this is where the darkness of the truth will hit you the hardest. You can never get that back. You can never reclaim what you lost, no matter how hard you try. You can chase it, yearn for it, but it will always remain just out of reach. The extraordinary, once lost, slips into the realm of memory, a faded echo of what once was, and all you are left with is the endless ache of longing. Think about it. What's worse than realizing that you could have had it? What's worse than knowing that all it would have taken was one more push, one more decision, one more moment of courage to hold on to it? And yet, you didn't. You let fear, doubt, comfort, and conformity talk you out of it. You convinced yourself that it wasn't worth the fight. You convinced yourself that what everyone else was doing was good enough, and now you pay the price. Because the price of losing something extraordinary is not just regret, it's the hollowing out of your soul. It's becoming a shell of who you could have been, a mere whisper of your potential. The world of ordinary people will never understand this pain. They will never know what it feels like to carry the weight of something extraordinary slipping away from them. They will never experience the despair of knowing that they could have had more, but they chose to settle for less. And they will never understand that deep, primal yearning that will haunt you for the rest of your life. They will never know the torment of watching your dreams evaporate before your eyes, of seeing the possibilities fade into the background as you try to force yourself to be content with the dull, uninspiring life they are offering. But you know what it's like to taste greatness, and you will never, ever forget that taste. It will be there with you in every moment of mediocrity. It will taunt you in every fleeting moment of satisfaction, because deep down, you know what could have been, what should have been, and in your heart, there will always be the echo of the extraordinary that you let slip away. So I ask you this, are you ready to live with that regret? Are you ready to accept the emptiness that comes with knowing that you could have had it all, but chose to live in the world of ordinary instead? Are you willing to let your soul wither away in the absence of what you once touched, what you once held in your hands? Because if you are, then fine. Keep living the way you are. Keep settling for what's easy and familiar. But if you can't shake the feeling that you are meant for something more, if you can't stop thinking about the extraordinary that's just out of reach, then let me tell you this. Don't let it go. Don't let it slip away. Fight for it. Because in the end, the greatest regret will not be the pain of the struggle. It will be the knowledge that you let something extraordinary slip through your fingers forever. I must ask you, in the deepest corners of your soul, to confront the question, what are you truly willing to sacrifice in your pursuit of greatness? And make no mistake, greatness is not something that comes wrapped in a pretty bow. It is not something that is handed to you on a silver platter. Greatness comes at a price, and that price is something that very few are ever truly prepared to pay. It demands your time, your energy, your focus, and yes, your heart. It will stretch you beyond your limits. It will push you to the brink of what you thought was possible. It will take everything you have, your sweat, your tears, your sacrifices, and most certainly your courage. But for those who are willing to pay that price, for those who are willing to endure the struggle and the pain, the rewards are unimaginable. So, why is it that so many of us, when faced with that choice, choose to let it go? Why is it that when the extraordinary comes knocking, we close the door? Why do we turn our backs on the very thing that could elevate us, transform us, and give us a glimpse of something beyond the ordinary? The simple truth is that greatness is terrifying. The extraordinary is terrifying. It demands everything from you. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. It forces you to break free from the chains of mediocrity, to shatter the glass ceiling of comfort that most people spend their lives building. And most people are terrified of breaking out of their comfort zones. They are terrified of failing. They are terrified of losing what little they have in the pursuit of something far greater. But let's face it, failure is inevitable. It is part of the process. It is the price you pay for even trying to reach the extraordinary. The path to greatness is not a straight line. It is full of obstacles, setbacks, and moments where you will question if it's all worth it. But here's the thing you need to understand. The regret of never even trying, the regret of letting something extraordinary slip through your fingers will be far worse than any failure you encounter along the way. That's the price you pay when you settle for the ordinary, when you allow fear and doubt to control your decisions. You see, the world doesn't reward the ones who play it safe. The world doesn't reward those who follow the rules, who stay within the lines, who accept mediocrity as the norm. The world rewards those who are willing to push the boundaries, to challenge the status quo, to go beyond what is expected of them. But those people, the ones who rise to the occasion and seize the extraordinary, often pay a steep price. They face criticism, rejection, and doubt from those who are too afraid to do the same. They sacrifice relationships, comfort, and sometimes their own well-being, all in the pursuit of something greater than themselves. And yet, even with all the pain and the suffering, they would not trade it for anything, because they understand that the extraordinary is the only thing worth chasing. But here's the bitter reality that most people never want to face. You can never be truly great unless you're willing to lose everything. You have to be willing to walk away from the ordinary. You have to be willing to leave behind everything that makes you comfortable, everything that makes you feel safe, and throw yourself into the unknown. It's a dark, terrifying place, but it is also the only place where true greatness can be born. You can't have one without the other. You can't have the extraordinary without the fear, without the struggle, without the sacrifice. The price of greatness is high, but the reward is immeasurable. And yet, most people never make it to that point. They never make it to the extraordinary because they can't handle the pressure. They are too afraid to step into the unknown. They are too afraid to leave behind the life they know, even if it means staying in the suffocating embrace of mediocrity. And that's where the real tragedy lies. Because in a world that is saturated with the ordinary, with the comfortable, with the predictable, there are so few who are willing to reach for something more. So few who are willing to put everything on the line and say, I will not settle for less. I will not accept a life that doesn't challenge me. I will not let the extraordinary slip through my fingers. But that is what the ordinary world does to you. It dulls your senses. It numbs you to the extraordinary. It makes you believe that the status quo is good enough. It convinces you that just getting by is all that matters. And for so many people, this becomes the ultimate tragedy. They wake up one day, look at their life, and realize they have spent it all chasing after the wrong things. They have spent their time chasing comfort, chasing security, chasing what is easy, and in doing so, they have sacrificed the very essence of what makes life worth living, the pursuit of the extraordinary. Now think about this for a moment. Imagine standing on the edge of your life, looking back at all the choices you've made. Can you truly say you have given it all? Can you truly say that you have chased the extraordinary with everything you have? Or have you allowed fear, self-doubt, and the comfortable grip of mediocrity to dictate your path? If you can say you've given it your all, then you know the price, you know the struggle, you know the feeling of being stretched beyond your limits, of pushing through the pain, of sacrificing everything in the pursuit of something greater. And even if you haven't reached the extraordinary yet, you know that the pursuit itself is worth more than anything the ordinary world could ever offer. But if you haven't, if you find yourself staring into the abyss of regret, if you feel the weight of all the things you've let slip through your fingers, then I am here to tell you this. It's not too late. It's never too late to reclaim what was lost. It's never too late to step into the unknown, to fight for something greater, to reach for the extraordinary. Yes, it will be painful. Yes, it will be difficult. Yes, you will face obstacles, and yes, you will fail. But what's worse, living a life of ordinary regret or stepping into the fire of greatness, knowing that no matter what happens, you gave it everything you had? Regret is a silent killer. It doesn't scream in your face, but it eats away at your soul. It settles into the cracks of your mind, whispering, what if? What if you had done things differently? What if you had taken that chance? What if you had risked everything for something greater? And those whispers don't go away. They follow you, haunt you, and keep you up at night. The price of losing the extraordinary is not just the pain of the present. It's the lingering, gnawing feeling that you could have been something more, but you didn't have the courage to fight for it. And let me tell you something. That is a burden no one should have to carry. No one should have to live with the weight of their own potential unfulfilled. No one should have to wake up every morning knowing that they let greatness slip through their fingers because they were too afraid, too comfortable, or too complacent to reach for it. You owe it to yourself, to the very essence of who you are, to fight for the extraordinary. So ask yourself now, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to face the fear, the doubt, the discomfort, and the sacrifice that comes with chasing the extraordinary? Or will you continue to live in the shadows of mediocrity, forever haunted by the echo of what you could have had? The choice is yours. You can choose to settle for the ordinary and live in the prison of regret for the rest of your days. Or you can choose to step into the unknown, to risk it all, to fight for something greater. Because at the end of your life, the only thing that will matter is whether or not you fought for the extraordinary, whether or not you dared to live a life worth living, whether or not you were bold enough to reach for what was beyond your grasp. And if you don't, if you let it slip away, then you will be left with nothing but the haunting question, what if? And that, my friends, is a fate far worse than any failure or struggle along the way to greatness. Don't let it happen to you. Don't let the extraordinary slip through your fingers forever. Because there will come a moment a single breath in time, when you will realize, truly realize, that the world you have settled for is not the one you were meant to live in. And it won't be an earth-shattering epiphany, not a sudden blaze of light that reveals the truth to you. Number, it will be a quiet, insidious realization that creeps into your soul, like a slow-burning fire, eating away at the edges of your being until you are consumed by the knowledge that you have let something truly remarkable slip away. And when that moment hits you, when that undeniable truth seizes your heart, it will be too late. The extraordinary will be gone, and what you will be left with is nothing but the ghost of what could have been, the bitter remnants of a life that never reached its potential. You think it won't happen to you, don't you? You think that you are immune, that you will always recognize when the extraordinary comes into your life, that you will be able to grab hold of it and never let it go. But I assure you, life is deceptive in its simplicity. The extraordinary doesn't announce itself. It doesn't parade in front of you in grand gestures or fireworks. It slips into your life quietly, almost imperceptibly, disguised in moments of everyday existence, hidden in the places you least expect. And it is in those moments when you are least prepared that you must make a decision to either rise to the occasion, to grasp the extraordinary with both hands and hold on for dear life, or to let it slip away into the ether, disappearing into the void, leaving you with nothing but the echo of what could have been. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be telling yourself that you will recognize when the extraordinary arrives. You might be telling yourself that you will know when the time comes to make that choice. But here's the painful truth. Most people don't. Most people don't realize until it's too late. Most people go through their lives with their eyes closed, numbed by the monotony of existence, blind to the opportunities that come their way. And when they finally wake up, when they finally realize what they have lost, it is too late. The extraordinary has slipped through their fingers, and they are left with nothing but the hollow feeling of regret, knowing that they could have been something more, but never took the chance. Why does this happen? Why do so many people fail to recognize the extraordinary when it is right in front of them? The answer is simple: fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure. Fear of stepping outside of the comfortable, safe world they have built for themselves. The extraordinary is not something that fits neatly into the box of their carefully constructed lives. It requires breaking down the walls they have so meticulously erected, tearing down the facade they have built to protect themselves from the harshness of reality. It asks them to leave behind the familiar and venture into uncharted territory where nothing is certain, where every step could lead to failure, but also to greatness. And that, my friends, is a terrifying prospect. But let me ask you this: what is the alternative? What is the price of staying where you are? What is the cost of clinging to the ordinary, of refusing to take that leap of faith into the unknown? The price is your soul. The price is your potential. The price is the very essence of what makes you human. The ability to grow, to evolve, to reach for something greater than yourself. When you choose to remain in the safety of the ordinary, when you choose to settle for what is comfortable and predictable, you are choosing to stagnate. You are choosing to waste your life, to squander the very gift of existence that has been given to you. And in doing so, you are allowing the extraordinary to slip through your fingers, forever lost in the currents of time. The truth is, most people never realize what they are missing until it is too late. They go through life following the prescribed path, doing what is expected of them, conforming to the pressures of society and their peers, and never once questioning whether the path they are on is the one that will lead them to the extraordinary. They live in the world of the ordinary, because it is safe, it is known, and it requires no effort, no risk, no sacrifice. But there is a price to be paid for this comfort, and that price is the very soul of who they are. The extraordinary, my friends, does not come to those who are content with mediocrity. It does not come to those who are too afraid to reach beyond their limits, to push the boundaries of what is possible. It comes to those who are willing to risk everything to chase after something greater, something more meaningful, something that transcends the ordinary. And here's the catch. Once you have experienced the extraordinary, once you have touched the very edge of what is possible, there is no going back. There is no returning to the life you once knew. You cannot unsee the truth of your potential, and you cannot erase the memory of the extraordinary. It will stay with you, gnawing at you from the inside, a constant reminder of what could have been. And that, my friends, is the true cost of letting the extraordinary slip through your fingers. You will never be the same again. You will never be able to look at the world the same way. You will never be able to accept the ordinary as enough. It will haunt you. This knowledge that you were meant for more, that you were capable of more, and yet you chose to walk away from it. And as the years go by, as you age and reflect on the life you have lived, the weight of that regret will become unbearable. You will look back and wonder, what if I had taken that chance? What if I had pushed through the fear, stepped outside of my comfort zone, and reached for the extraordinary? What could I have become? And those questions will echo in your mind for the rest of your life, but you will never know the answer. The extraordinary will be gone, and you will be left with the remnants of a life that never fully lived up to its potential. But here's the real horror of it. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to live with the suffocating weight of regret. You don't have to be one of those people who looks back on their life and wonders what might have been. The extraordinary is still out there, waiting for you. It is waiting for you to step forward, to take the risk, to put everything on the line and reach for something greater. And yes, it will be terrifying. Yes, it will challenge you in ways you can't even imagine. Yes, it will push you to your limits and maybe even beyond them. But it will also transform you. It will shape you into the person you were always meant to be. And in the end, when you look back, you will not regret the struggles, the failures, the pain, or the sacrifices. You will only regret the moments when you hesitated, when you allowed fear to hold you back, when you let the extraordinary slip through your fingers. The path to greatness is not an easy one. It is not a path for the faint of heart, but it is a path worth walking. Because the alternative, the path of mediocrity, of living a life that never truly tests your limits, that never pushes you beyond what you thought was possible, is far worse. It is a path that leads to a life of quiet desperation, a life where you are constantly haunted by the knowledge that you could have been more, that you could have done more, but you chose not to. And in the end, that regret will consume you. It will follow you to your grave, and it will be the one thing you cannot escape. So I urge you now, while you still have the time, while you still have the opportunity, reach for the extraordinary. Don't let it slip away. Don't let fear and doubt keep you from the life you are meant to live. Take that first step. Make the leap. Break free from the chains of the ordinary and embrace the unknown. The extraordinary is waiting for you, but only if you have the courage to reach for it. Because at the end of your life, the only thing that will matter is whether you dare to live a life worth living, whether you dare to reach for something beyond the ordinary. Don't let it slip away. Don't let the extraordinary slip through your fingers forever. Make the choice today to fight for it, to claim it, to make it yours. Because if you don't, you will live with the regret for the rest of your life, and that is a fate far worse than any failure or struggle along the way. In the end, the choice is yours. You can either settle for the comfort of the ordinary, letting the extraordinary slip away, or you can summon the courage to reach for something greater. The regret of never trying, of never pushing beyond your limits, will haunt you far more than any failure you may encounter along the way. So don't let the extraordinary fade into the distance. Fight for it, embrace it, and make it yours, because a life lived in pursuit of greatness is the only life worth living. Don't let it slip through your fingers forever.